Yeah, there she is. Still purring like a kitten. The old girl been running for a long time. Running just like that. That's the way these small block Chryslers are. They've always been good motors. Tested tough. Smooth as silk. Yeah, the underside isn't what it used to be. Yeah, let's see. We'll take a look at it there. I don't know if you can see that. Transmission's over there. Yeah. Haven't touched that since I put it in. There's the underside of the truck. It's a little bit rusty, but yeah, it's not bad. Got a little cancer growing on the doors now. Yeah, I don't know what we're going to do about that. Yeah, it's just kind of, you know, the paint kind of flaking off. Well, what are you going to do? Yeah, this is the, oh, a little cancer growing on the, old bumper. I got a new bumper though. So, you know, after 10 years, I don't know, this thing seems pretty bad, you know, for just 10 years. Yeah. A rusty old Ram. Oh boy. Here's that tin skid plate I had to take off. You might remember that from the original video. Sure looks different under here though. Oil pan's gonna need to be replaced. Those oil pans rust out for some reason. They rusted out. I hope someday it don't let go because there'll be oil all over the place and the motor will be I'll be stuck. Don't look as new as it did in the other video. No, this is what an old truck looks like. What you saw in the other video was a brand spanking new Dodge. This is the same truck, same Dodge. It's 10 years later. Yeah, let's take a look at the odometer. See if we can get a shot of that. Can you see that? All right. There you go. That's the mileage on the truck right now. Can you see it? Let me just wipe that off a little. Here, add a little spit on there. Get some of the dirt off. Oh, there it is. Yeah, 158,521. That's the mileage on the truck right now. Original clutch. Never had to touch that transmission since I put it in. Zero maintenance to it. It still shifts and runs fine. Not bad for a guy who doesn't know how to drive it standard. But, you know, hey, you know, different strokes for different folks. That's what they say. Let's just take a look, see if it has any error codes. All right. Oh, 442. And 445. Oh, 455. Done. Oh, that's good. I did have an error before. It had a bad oxygen sensor. I had to put one of those in too. But yeah, that's another thing I had to do to the truck. But yeah, that's not bad. So that's the mileage, and those two errors: evaporative system leak, large evaporative system leak, and small evaporative system leak. The EPA might care about it, but I don't care about it. Here we are. It's June 2011. It's been 10 years since this old Dodge Ram here had its transmission redone, and in the old video we did, the Daimler Chrysler Sucks video we did back in 2001. You might remember I bought the truck and the transmission blew out and I had to replace it. Chrysler wouldn't give me a new one. They wanted to rebuild the old one. I didn't want any part of that, so I decided to put a new one in. So I just wanted to give you, this is an update video, and I just want to give you the rundown of everything this 2001 Dodge Ram needed since day one till now. So on day one, I was driving home from the dealership at my brand new truck after, you know, buying it, and I put the thing into 5th gear, and the transmission locked up, and rear wheels locked up, and the truck skidded, and it sounded like an ice crusher, just crushing up the gears. It sounded terrible. I limped the thing home. I brought it down to the dealership and begged them for a new transmission. They wouldn't give it to me. So I ended up fixing it myself. I know a lot about cars, and I felt pretty comfortable with changing the tranny, so I did. So I'm going to sort of give you a rundown of the history of the truck, you know, how it's been since I did that. We put the transmission in, brand new transmission. I've driven the truck now 158,000 miles on the original clutch, and I've never had a problem with the transmission since I did it. It's been perfectly good. Right now it's got all these parts I'm going to put in the truck. I love this truck, I really do. It's a nice solid heavy duty truck. I bought a brand new Toyota, you'll see it. The Toyota truck is a great truck, but it's a light duty truck, and for hauling boats and hauling, you know, bark mulch and cordwood and everything else, this Ram is what I want. My Toyota is a 2010 Toyota Tacoma. I could have given this truck to Obama, you know, for the Cash for Clunkers program. I could have got $4,500 for it, you know, and he could have, you know, they could have poured that cocktail into the engine and seized it up and crushed the truck and destroyed it. But no, this whole gas guzzler, she's gonna be hanging with me for a while longer. We're gonna fix it up. I bought all these front end parts. The front end's got all the original parts. I did have new ball joints put in the front end. The ball joints were bad. I put new ball joints in. I've got all these other front end parts. We'll go through what I got here later on in the video. So let's just go through the list of things that the truck's needed all its life, you know, and you can tell me if it was a good truck or not. I think this stuff is all pretty much normal stuff, but the transmission wasn't normal. That had to be done. Rear brake lines went bad, and the rear brake lines were just steel lines. They rusted out. I bought really nice copper lines that are nickel plated, and they have Teflon coating over that. They're real nice lines. I put those in. I really like them. I don't think they're ever going to rust out again. Rear brakes went bad on me, and two things went wrong with rear brakes. The brake rotors were worn out. I had to have them replaced, and I think when the guy put them on, I think there might be a sensor or something that has to do with the rear brakes, because I lost the anti-lock rear brakes after they put the new drums on. But I don't really care, because the anti-locks never work very well anyway. You know, I'd hit the brakes on the highway, and when the anti-locks really shouldn't have engaged, they did, and they'd freewheel, and it really wasn't going to skid, so I didn't need the anti-lock brakes then. You know, they're probably nice to have when they work right, but I didn't really like the way they were. So without the anti-lock brakes, I don't miss them at all. You know, so then, you know, we put new brake linings in, and the new brake drums, and as a result, they lost the anti-locks. But so what? Front brakes. Truck eats up front brakes. I mean, I went through pads twice on the truck, and the second time I put a new set of rotors. These trucks, you really need to put the best pads you can buy on them, because they go through them pretty fast. So I put good pads on them, new rotors, got all that done. So the next thing, idler belt tensioner. The belt has a tensioner, and the bearing went bad in it, so I had to replace the belt tensioner. So I did that. It's on its third. It's working on its third set of tires. I put 2 sets of tires on it. Now I've got 2 new tires on the rear, and I got to get 2 more for the front. So after I put all this front end stuff in, because it wanders real bad and it eats up the front tires, I'll put 2 new tires in the front. That'll be the 3rd set of tires. Last time I changed the oil, there's a big rust blister on the bottom of the oil pan, and I'm worried that if I try to scrape it off, it's going to leak, and I think I'm just going to have to put a new oil pan on it. So probably that's something that probably shouldn't have gone bad, but it looks like I'm going to have to put an oil pan. Radiator has a little bit of a problem. When it's real cold out, and I just start the truck up and I drive it down to the gas station, by the time I get down to the gas station, it's dripping a little bit of antifreeze, where the tank, the plastic tank has made it to the core. But then after the truck fully warms up, it stops leaking. So it hasn't really been a problem, but I think I might have to put a radiator in it, and so that'll be coming. I put a water pump in it. I needed a water pump. I did that. When I did the water pump, I ended up having to put a new fan clutch on it, because I think I damaged the fan clutch when I did the water pump. It didn't need a fan clutch, but I wrecked it, so I had to put a fan clutch in it. So the steering, power steering, has a fluid cooler, and the fluid cooler rusted out, and that was leaking, so I had to replace the fluid cooler. That's another thing I did. I think I mentioned the ball joints. I did the ball joints. Shocks. There's 2 new shocks in the front already. There's 2 more shocks here. They're gonna go on the rear. Good shocks, Bilstein shocks, Moog front end parts. That's because I love this truck and I want to put good parts in it. You know, Moog's lifetime guaranteed. I'll talk about the stuff again, but at any rate, the stuff's good quality parts. I put those in. So that's about it for all the parts I had to put in the truck all these years. You know, like I said, I could have traded this in, you know, and got the 4,500 bucks, but I couldn't stomach the idea that Obama is going to take my truck and destroy it. You know, just destroy a perfectly good running truck. You know, just you know, for economy reasons. You know, it's just crazy. You know, I just didn't think that was a good thing to do, and I'm going to keep this truck. So we're going to keep the old girl going. We're going to keep it going for another, you know, 50,000 miles anyway. And the bumpers all rusted out. I backed into this whole Charger I had, and I dented the bumper on the end of the bumper, and just 2 little dents on the bumper. You know, sometimes I punish myself when I make a mistake like that, you know. It just, you know, it really wrecked the door on the Charger. I don't know if I can show you a picture of that, but there's a big dent in the door of the Charger. Put a couple little dents in the end of the bumper, and to punish myself, I went down and I bought a brand new bumper. A brand new bumper is in the garage, it's in a box. It's supposed to be a chrome bumper. I don't know if it is. If it's not a chrome bumper, if it's painted black or a color, I can't bring it back because they're knocking down the dealership. You know, Chrysler, you know, customers, just face it, customers don't come back. You know, if you don't treat them right, they're not going to come back, you know. And I don't have any problem with the product. This is a good truck. I'm happy with my purchase of a Dodge truck. I really love the truck, but I'm not happy with the car company. The car dealer wasn't a problem either. It's the car company's policy to do what they did. And I was really upset with them, and unfortunately, you know, Chrysler was really hurting. You know, the recession and everything has really hit. You know, the economy is really bad, and it's hit the dealerships bad. And the dealership I bought the transmission for, not the one I bought the truck, but I bought the transmission for this truck, and I bought that bumper. So they're knocking down the dealership, and we'll go down the dealership. You'll see they're knocking down the dealership, and it'll probably be gone. And you know, I even told them, and I had the trouble with the truck. I said, you know, you treat your customers this way, you know, treat me this way. And one day I'm going to come back and I'm going to park this truck right in front of your dealership, and your dealership's going to be gone. And never really thought that'd be true, but, you know, seriously, but literally, the dealership is literally gone. So I'm going to drive your truck down there, and you're going to see that it's gone. So I was right, and I was right about a lot of things with this truck, and you know, I know how to drive a standard, 158,000 miles on the original clutch, no qualms about that, you know, and I drive this thing, you know, in traffic jams and everything else, so that's, you know, that can be some hard miles on a clutch. This is the copy of the check that they sent me, and the amount is, and you can't really read it, but it's, let me read it. $1,847.25, $1,847.25. They reimbursed me for the transmission that I bought. So there it is, right there, Daimler Chrysler check. So if there's any doubt that I got my money back on that transmission, I did. They didn't pay me for the labor, but you know, they give me the check for the amount of the transmission, so that's good. And they ended up sending the old transmission to a school with, I think, that to take it apart. So that's my check for my woes. So, and they also reinstated my warranty, and no problem there. And they offered me a job as a mechanic at Daimler Chrysler's dealership, because I did such a perfect job on the truck. They told me they couldn't even tell the transmission had been changed. Okay folks, well, there's the Dodge Ram. Had a problem with the fuel pump on Friday, it went bad. I could have dropped the fuel tank out, but I've done that before, and it's a real nightmare. It's a lot more fun to take the bed off than to take the fuel tank out. So I decided to take the bed off because I'm doing new shocks and I'm doing a new bumper, and and I'm gonna do the fuel pump too. So I did that. It only 6 bolts, comes right off. Actually pretty easy. So there's the Ram with no truck bed, no cargo box. So you can see the new shocks. There's 2 new Bilstein shocks in there. Coming around, there's the fuel pump. Heck of a lot easier to put in a fuel pump, folks, when you take the bed off. Starts right up now. Works really good with that fuel pump. It's a Carter fuel pump, so I hope it works out well. There's the Ram being fixed up. It's all been washed. That front bumper that got dented in, believe it or not, it happened when I I bumped into a Subaru Forester. Didn't make a mark on the Forester, not even a slightest scratch. Yet did a real number on the front bumper. I think maybe I have to put a new front bumper on too if we want to fix up this truck. I bent it out, but that's the best I could get it, and bent it out a lot if you can believe it, but that's what it still looks like. Subaru Forester though, tough vehicle. You can stand up to a 2500 Dodge Ram quad cab. Here's one for loving the Ram. All those front end parts are now in the Ram. Can't wait to go try this out. It's going to be much better than it was before. Got to get a front end alignment and we'll be good to go again. Nice new steering box. Beautiful. Yeah, we love our Rams, so that's what we gotta do to keep it going. Steering's nice and tight now. Okay, before we take off and go for a spin in this truck, let's clean the windshield. Yeah, wash the window. I just pushed a button to wash the window. Oh, and there it is. It stopped right in the middle. Oh. So I just turn it on again, and then we just turn it off, and it will go down. So I'm able to park it that way. You know, sometimes with these old mopes, you know, you just got to live with some of these little problems, little quirks, you know. But no problem, man. We still love this truck, so we're just gonna live with that. I'll take you for a little spin there. You can tell me if I'm shifting okay. Awesome. Hey, reverse is working. We're backing right out of the driveway. Alright. Alright, let it go gentle. I don't want to knock the camera over. Beautiful. Here we go. Got the original exhaust system in this truck. My wife said she thought it was making a lot of noise, but I don't think it's any louder than it ever was. Yeah. Awesome. We're just cruising around going at about 65. The truck wanders all over the road now because the front end's all screwed up. All those pots that are in the back, well, still back there, I hope. I got to put those in. See, I got to really work at the steering wheel here to keep the truck straight. Got to put the parts in this month though, because got to get the truck inspected. You know, it's a little bit, you know, I can keep it pretty straight, but you know, I worry about driving it and having a cop drive behind me because it's like, oh my gosh, how do I keep it straight? You know, my qualms wasn't really with the product as much as, you know, it's understandable that, you know, the product has problems, you know, they assembled it, they made a mistake, something was broken, you know, that's all understandable. Well, the problem I had is I asked Chrysler to give me a brand new transmission, and they refused. They wanted to send this thing out to a transmission dealer and have the transmission fixed. And I explained to them that the reason why I bought the truck is because I paid a lot of money to have my old Dodge Ram. I had an 87 Dodge. I had the transmission rebuilt in that truck. and they put these cheap parts in it. The synchros are no good, and I had to fight with them to get them to fix it. And the transmission didn't last, so they had bearings and they failed. And I didn't want, you know, the same thing happening to my new truck. I wanted a brand new transmission, and they wouldn't give it to me, and that's why I went down and I bought it, and I put it in myself, because, you know, I know how to do that kind of work. I've worked on Chryslers all my life, and it really was, I actually enjoy putting it in, because it's the first time I ever worked on a car where it was brand spanking new and I didn't even get my hands dirty. So it was actually a good memory putting it in. I didn't mind doing it at all. It's funny because when I bought the transmission from him, the parts guy, I knew him pretty well. He walked down to the sales office with me, and he wanted to witness me paying for the transmission, because he didn't believe anybody would come in and buy a brand new transmission for a brand new truck that's under warranty. He couldn't believe it, and he said, I need to see this for myself. So he walked down to the cashier with me and watched me pay for the transmission. So that was pretty funny. I don't know how long the clutch is going to last. 158,000. I'll tell you this, I'm not putting it in. If it needs a new clutch, goes to a transmission shop, they can do it. But the clutch is holding strong. I'm pretty good on clutches. The last clutch, it was I sold the Dodge to my brother, and it had 125,000 miles I put on the clutch, and he had to put a new transmission. That's the one that the transmission was bad. I told you about the Chinese one. I sold it to my brother, and he put a new transmission on it. When they looked at the clutch, they said it was only 50% one. So 50% one, I put 125,000 on that clutch. So that'll tell you something. You know, the kid can drive a standard. I never ride the clutch, and you know, I'm good with it. So I don't know. Here's the old Ram, still going after all these years. Here it is. This is the site of the Dodge dealer. It's going to be destroyed. This is what happens when car companies don't take care of the customers. Customers don't come back and buy cars. This is the kind of demise that happens. Oh well, it's a sad state of affairs. You know, it's my new Toyota truck. Runs great. I used to love this Dodge dealer. I used to come here all the time, especially over there to the service bay, and buy parts for all my Chryslers. There's my old parts counter was in there. I used to go in there all the time. This is where we bought the transmission for the Dodge. This is where I bought it, picked it up. Transmission's still running, but the dealer isn't. Used to love Chrysler back in the 70s. Owned a lot of their muscle cars. I know the B-body Chryslers like the back of my hand. Something I'll never forget. Racing those old Mopars. Well, it's goodbye, Chrysler dealer. Goodbye, Chrysler. It was fun while it lasted.